Hey, this is Seez Mics. Right now, you're watching, listening, and experiencing DOD45. Peace.
My name is Sage Francis. Boing, oing, oing.
Hey, I'm not Sage. I'm Dibs.
I'm Dose.
Hey, I'm Slug.
I'm Buck.
And I'm Gel.
This is Prem Rock.
And this is Curly Castro.
This is Brother Ali, and you're watching DOD45.
45.
Keep it right here. There's a lot of things happening here that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45. This is the DOD45 show, drawing over discussions 45 minutes with a special guest. Welcome. I'm your host and resident artist, Ty of Art by Ty, joined by my awesome co-host, Adrian Taiwali'i. In each of these DOD45 episodes, we sit down with a special guest, someone we admire and are inspired by, and we dive into meaningful discussions. But here's the twist. While we're chopping it up with our guest, I'll also be creating live artwork that unfolds in real time. I set a 45-minute timer, grab my pen, and create a one-of-a-kind piece of art for our guest while we chat. So stick around to experience the creative process in action, hear some great stories, and maybe even learn something new and unexpected about today's guest. Peace. DOD45. Hello, fellow humans.
People of Earth, how are you?
Okwatans and Juan. Hello, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. We did it.
Today's guest is Seez Mics, Strange Famous Family. Without revealing too much, Adrian, if you had to explain to your dad...
Okay.
That you're in the Strange Famous, or you're in the S.F.R. group chat.
Okay.
How would you do that?
I'd say, Dad, I'm in the Strange Famous group chat. He knows Strange Famous.
Oh.
I said, Dad, we're going to Rhode Island. And he goes, for Strange Famous? And I said, yep.
Wow, check him out. Oh, well, how would you explain the Strange Famous chat to your mom?
My mom, I would say, Mom, I have friends. Or my husband does, and they let me along.
You've in the past few days you've posted in the group more than I have.
Well, sometimes I get on a roll.
It was a holiday.
One of my boyfriends won't text me back sometimes when I want to share things, and sometimes I want an answer. And he just takes too long. He's busy getting stoned.
Oh.
Forgets that I exist and I'm texting him.
You're not talking about a boyfriend from Strange Famous, though.
Oh, no. I'm talking about my boyfriend, Robert.
Yeah. How do you explain to him that you're in the Strange Famous group chat?
He wouldn't last 5 minutes trying to figure that one out. He's got the attention span of a what?
A mouse?
Of what doesn't? I think they have good attention. They're just like constantly looking for food. Maybe of a
cheese. And your friend's constantly looking for men, for boys.
No,
I'm joking.
He's got a sugar daddy.
I don't know where I was headed with that.
Me neither.
I was just wondering how you would explain the Strange Famous.
Oh, I wouldn't go into any details.
No, you can't. I can. There used to be some people in it. Not some people. Well, it doesn't matter. Some people left it.
Some people
willingly.
I think they probably were like, "When's she gonna go?"
Who? No. Well, listen. If any of you Strange Famous folks are in the live chat right now.
Don't say anything. That's fine.
I'm joking. But hey, speaking of live chat, if you're in there, hello.
Hey.
Hi. How are you? Are you typing like this? Or are you typing like this? Who knows? Thanks for joining us. Hey, take five quick minutes or 2 minutes, either right now or after the episode, and go rate and review our show on Spotify or Apple, or I wonder, can you rate and review on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you can do that,
I don't know.
that.
Actually,
I don't think you can.
I don't ever use YouTube.
Important, subscribe to the YouTube. That way you get notified every time a new episode's coming out, because even though we say we have a schedule on Tuesday nights, it's possible that Our new schedule, we've said it in the last few episodes, is when we have an episode recorded, we'll drop it on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We're never guaranteed an episode, but if that's the case, that's the case.
If you ring the bell, you'll get an alert.
Yeah.
Or whatever they say.
But if you want to know where to leave reviews and rates and comments and shit like that, just go to, there's links on the DOD45.com page right at the front. You'll find them. You can't miss it. I updated the website. It's like, boom, there. It's ready to party for you to leave reviews. Quick shout out to some of our affiliates. I'll run through these real quick. I want to just let these people know that we're grateful to have them as affiliates. Jackson Young Gallery in Wicker Park, Chicago. Hob Sauce, that label that people are voting on, it's like in the running to be in first place. Let's let them win. Yeah, cool. The drawing that I did for the Hob Sauce label. Terror Tacos up there in St. Louis, Missouri. Brickbox Brewery in Tucson, Arizona. AWOL 1 in the Speaker Face Store. Old Blue Gallery in Hannibal, Missouri. Underground Sound Magazine. Mr. Dibbs up there in Cincinnati, on the Cincinnati Trail. Sage Francis and Strange Famous Records. And Grow Haven up there in Pawpaw, Michigan. I don't know where Pawpaw is, but...
I bet it's got land.
Grow Haven sent their homie down to come see us in Chicago last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And he showed up, and he's an artist. He stopped in and said, yo, Grow Haven sent me down.
Gregory. Was it Gregory?
Gabriel. He gave us his book. He's a really good artist, man. He's a really cool... this is his book. But he recently did the Prem Rock album cover. Prem Rock's Did You Enjoy Your Time Here album cover.
Yeah.
That was cool. I was like... Yeah, it was.
They're out in Europe.
Who?
Touring.
Prem and Curly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
If it feels like a... Yeah.
They're in Lyon.
Oh, in France?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had a gallery show out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. He gave me his book. And so Gabriel, his last name is Karagiannis. Anyway, he's a pretty dope artist, and I just wanted to say what's up to him because he started watching the DOD45 show. Yeah. So anyway, and then thanks to Grow Haven for sending him over to say what's up. Very quickly, I'm going to do real quick. Here's some new music out from past DOD45 guests. A song called Seagulls. Seagulls? Sigils. How would you say that? Don't know? Seagulls.
Okay.
Maybe. That's Def C, Parallel Thought, and Fatboy Sharif.
Photobombing Caravaggio's and conjugal visitations. Faith is what you make it. Starve the hungry and clothe the naked. The devil is a lie, yet so am I. What's that make me?
Fatboy Sharif was talking about him on the Dose 1 episode last week. I just really, really like that dude's style right now. It's someone that I'm vibing with right now. That's a song from the album Other Blues. And then there's the track called There's More to Life intro.
When we'll patch scars, laugh and crash cars. When you stab me in the back of the backyard. Down the 2 a.m. infinite spiritual turnpike drive to the road with all the worst hills. And if you hit him at the right speed.
That's from Dylan Owen. And he was just in the live chat with Dose 1's episode last week. And I don't know if this is a new track, but it's out. It's out new. It's kind of out. I think it's released as a standalone single right now. It's a spoken word, but then it goes into him rapping. Hey, that kid's got some. I hate to call him kid, but he's just much younger than I am. But it's a real personal song, and it's a cool little track. So that's a new track out. And then Fresh Air by AWOL 1 and Rove and Micah 9.
You gotta give me some space and not square footage. You receive your gift and you find a place to put it. Obedience, it equals freedom. Breathe in fresh air, now time to see them.
That's just some underground veterans.
Oh, Rove, isn't it?
Yeah. That song's called Fresh Air. And then Triple X or XXX by Atmosphere.
Triple X years in the game, still making weird faces when they hear my name. To all my people who ain't seen me in a while, I've been around, but I'm incognito.
That's on this. It's a 30-year anniversary track, and Slug reflects on his journey while Ant puts down the signature Ant production. It's like I didn't know if it was like an old rap, if it was old jam, because Slug's doing feels like this old school kind of rap styles.
Yeah.
But the stuff he's talking about, like Cash App and PayPal and stuff like that, it is new. It is a new track, but yeah, anyway. And then Entropy by Knick Knack.
You strut like the sunrise waits on your cue, but the cosmos doesn't stutter when it phases through you. You're a spark in the piston of a dying machine, mistaking all the static for a sovereignty dream.
And we haven't got Knick Knack in here yet. He's I'm still dealing with this thing, so hopefully we'll get him in soon. But he's got a new song out called Entropy. So peep those songs, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. I have 3 short segments I'm going to add to the intros. They're really short, nice and easy. Okay, Adrian?
Yeah.
Okay, the first segment is called Something I Read. That's what we're calling it. Something I read. And so I'm just going to tell you this one thing that I read. Okay. Scientists have recently learned that mice with Alzheimer's disease, when they inhale menthol, their cognitive abilities improve.
Oh.
I guess the chemical compound can stop some of the damage done to the brain that's usually associated with the disease.
Interesting.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think you can get menthol just about anywhere. Vicks Vapor Rub. Is
it
like is it camphor or what? What
just
is
said,
the menthol?
It said they learned when mice inhale menthol. That's all. That's all I read. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff, but I'll save people all the detailed stuff. But I have 2 thoughts on it. One is, how do they know that the mice have Alzheimer's?
Because they give it to them.
Oh, you can give someone...
You can remove... you can remove things in coding.
Yeah, but how...
There's a woolly mouse. They made a woolly mammoth mouse.
But how do you know that the mouse has Alzheimer's?
Because this is what they do.
They're forgetting things? They're forgetting where the cheese is?
They're highly studied, and they probably removed whatever it is that gives you Alzheimer's, or what is diminishing when you have Alzheimer's, okay?
Okay, I guess.
Yeah?
I don't know.
I watch a lot of
mice and Alzheimer's?
I follow a lot of mouse studies.
Oh, okay. Well, then my other thought on that is...
It's kind of stupid because mice aren't very human-like. But
they grew a human ear on a mouse once, I remember.
A pig, I know. They did it on a mouse too.
Well, yeah. Or maybe I did a drawing of a mouse with a human ear. Or their ears look very human-like or something weird.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, my other thought was maybe I need to start smoking menthols again.
Oh,
so I don't get Alzheimer's. I'll just get lung cancer.
Yeah. Quickest way? Quickest way to... Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird. I don't know. So there you go. Something I read.
Okay.
The second segment is this segment I call, Is This a Shitty Thought?
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Probably shouldn't ask me.
I'll tell you a thought that I have, and you let me know if I'm a bad person because of it. Okay.
Okay.
This is the thought that I had that I wrote down.
Okay.
I'm just going to read it how I wrote it. Can we get back to a time where what you wore told me who you were? If you wear a Thrasher shirt, I know you're a skateboarder. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just
No.
means you're longing for a different time.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can feel like people going like, oh, what is this old man telling people what they should wear? But I don't know. There was something about...
No, there used to be a time where we knew our people. And our people have... Everything's everything, and who knows what is what.
Yeah, so I'm not a bad person for that?
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's a thought that I have often. I see all these Thrasher shirts walking around. I'm like, bro, you have never even fucking stepped on a skateboard. Do you even know what Thrasher is? That's what I want. Or independent shirts. I'm like, do you even know what independents are?
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't matter, though. That's the thing.
People.
Trucks.
They're voters, right? Independent voters.
That's funny. Okay, there you go. There's my second segment. See, I told you these were quick. And then the third segment is, what do you want to know? And these are questions from the audience.
Oh.
Because like I mentioned in Dose 1's episode, I came across in the DMs a whole bunch of questions. There's like 20 questions in there.
Okay.
These are questions from the audience. Yes, that means you people that are in the live chat, or you people that are watching this episode later. This is for you. Send us your questions.
Okay.
From here on out, if you have something that you want to ask myself or Adrian or a past guest, or just something weird you want to know, or something weird that you just want to throw into the mix, you can send us a message. Hit us in our DMs on our Instagram at DOD45W, or drop it on a comment of any post. We'll find it. And it doesn't have to be deep. It can be about art, rap, movies, breakfast food, whatever. It doesn't even matter. We're not picky, but it's at the top of the episodes. We'll read one question or a couple of questions and say who wrote the question and all that stuff. So if you're listening on Spotify, also you can now comment on Spotify episodes. You can actually comment there, and we get notified when those comments come in, and we can engage there too. So, all right, okay. Here's the first question. There were 3 questions. There was actually a question for you.
Oh,
do you want the question first, or shall I do the question that's for me?
Just whatever. I don't.
Okay. This question says, Ty, when you're drawing during interviews, are you fully tuned into the guest, or is your brain like 60% art, 40% conversation? That's from @SharpieThug420.
Okay.
My answer is I'm 99.1% in the conversation and 0.9% in the artwork.
What point? So you've gone. You now have no more points. But what percentage are you now thinking ahead of your next?
So.
See?
Okay, so there is a small percentage of my mind seeing the clock and how much time's left. But seriously, okay, let me go 95%. I'm 95% hearing everything the guest is saying.
I would say 90.
Really?
I would think
there's a lot of things happening. True. Yeah.
And you're missing the eye contact, so you do miss some context.
I do miss some context, but I'm paying attention to.
Yeah, you are, as much as you're able, because you're also thinking ahead.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's not my question, but that's my guess.
Well, all right. So there's my answer to your question. Thanks, Sharpie Thug. All right, this question for you, Adrian.
Okay.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever had to look up mid-episode while Ty's just casually interviewing someone? That's at Google, at Go Gleet girl.
I think we were talking about mushrooms once, and I wanted to add a comment in of these weird mushrooms they sometimes get in our backyard. And they kind of look like a very phallic, poopy thing popping out of the ground. And I went to type it in, and then I was really to see what it was called. And I was really scared of what was going to pop up on the browser, or if it was like going to hack me, or.
That's funny.
So I guess probably that. I don't know if I went through with it or not. It was a while back.
Well, good. That's a good thing. That's a good answer.
If anyone knows the name of those, go ahead and comment it. They're really disgusting looking.
What are the mushrooms called?
I don't know. Oh. I didn't ever look it up because I don't know what is going to.
But why did it come up?
I think we were talking about different kinds of mushrooms and things.
Not like microdose mushrooms.
Just in the past. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everybody. That's a proper show
I would
intro.
call them poopy dick mushrooms. I don't know what they're called. They look.
They're called poopy dick mushrooms?
No, but that's what I was gonna type in there.
Jeez, if we weren't on a podcast, that was yours. Like, yeah, I had a.
So I'm like, I don't know how to search that exactly.
But that's what you wanted to search. Oh no, yeah, and you're on my computer, right there. Is that where you would have searched it, or you'd have been on?
I usually look on my phone.
Well, okay. There you go, everybody. That's a proper show intro and format. Let me real quickly. Let's talk about our guest tonight, which is Seez Mics. And if I get any of this information wrong, I'm sorry. I just don't know everything. Fucking deal with it. So Seez Mics, he's joining us, returning for another chat. The first time we had him on was back in January 30th, 2022. Man, time flies, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Seez is battle-tested DMV vet, Strange Famous record signee, and a man built on paradoxes and punchlines. He's formerly of the Educated Consumers. That's a hip-hop duo from College Park, Maryland. He's known as the guy everyone gets along with in indie rap. His words, not ours, but also probably true. His newest album with S.F.R. is the sequel to his 2017 collab project called With. That has a whole bunch of collabs on it, including a song called Torch featuring Chesky.
But by the time I saw 8 Mile, I was on my
This could really take a while. I'll put them in a lake of fire. If I'm feeling friendly, maybe sailing style trial. They can't hang low, they're tangled and tank flows. I'll mangle these lame bros with
This album that we're having him on to talk about came out last year. It's called With S.F.R. It came out in September of 2024. I'm finally getting him in here to talk about it. That's another collab album, and it's featuring all strange famous MCs over beats by Speak Beats. Who was Speak Beats? I'm sure you were whispering to me, Adrian, right? He sees his friend from back in the day who used to bum rides with a broken leg and no gas money, who now suddenly drops bangers from a military base. There you go. Okay. He's a friend of Seez Mics. This With S.F.R. record is basically a strange famous group chat in album form. It's full on S.F.R. family. It's got Mopes, Sage, Runt, Cas One, Jesse the Tree, Early Adopted, Lee Reed. It's got everybody. With S.F.R., it's that rare sequel that's better than the original, like Aliens, not Caddyshack 2. I'm going to quickly share some tracks by Seez to give a taste of his range, his wit, and why this album's been living in my head for the last little while. We'll start with the track that sets the tone right out the gate. It's a song called Grinding Halt.
An empty suit so I stay hungry. Fill the tank so I can follow the maze money. Crazed junkie followed by a paper chaser. Created sin to blame a savior for my depraved behavior. Hate my neighbor with the passion of the Christ. Until my basement's flooded and I'm asking for advice. The rattling of dice put the loosest of ends. The newest of trends when viewed through the lens of who it offends.
Featuring Sage Francis. That's the first track on with S.F.R. It's a heavy opener. Seez and Sage dragging the weight of modern life uphill and still laughing halfway through. And it's an intriguing choice to me, I thought, for a first song on an album, Grinding Halt. Like, stop here, don't listen to the rest of this album. But I will keep on moving before we grind to a halt ourselves. The next track I want to share is a song called The End Has Begun. That also features Sage Francis.
Welcome to the beginning of the middle of the end. You see, the end has begun, so we're gone. The most important book I've ever read is Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. It helps explain the predicament the man is in. The planet spins in accordance with the sand and wind. Not a territorial memorials to circuitry diversity. Only as divisive as we let it be. We are unified by our universal empathy. Take us one to rate.
That's from 2018 album called Long Live Enough to Learn, or Live Long. It's a song called Live Long Enough. Jesus Christ. The album's called Live Long Enough to.
The song.
The album is called Live Long Enough to Learn.
Live long enough to learn.
Yeah, Live Long Enough to Learn. The song is called The End Has Begun, and that's a reunion of two thinkers in full reflection mode. It's not the end, it's just the latest checkpoint. From looking back to looking around, check this new track called Figure 'Em Out, featuring Slug and Open Mike Eagle.
I'm selling bottled water, I mean magic water, I mean super water. I'm like Snoop Sinatra, I'm the father of your future daughter. Let me introduce my chupacabra. I'm high as a Jedi, puke Skywalker. Keep a bong at the Blaisdell Y in a private locker. And now she wanna shoot the vodka, like who that papa with the boosted chakras. Man, I gotta loosen the collar.
Also from the Long Live Enough to Learn album. I'm having a hard time saying that.
Live long enough to learn.
Holy shit, I said it backwards again. From his Live Long Enough to Learn album. That's 3 minds, 1 track, 0 wasted bars. It's like a TED Talk with a better beat. And now let's change the climate a bit with the track Cancel the Guillotine.
Cancel the guillotine. I don't look ahead, cause I don't look the part. The past is no place to put your heart. The books are smart, the streets are smarter. Wonder why either would teach you to be a martyr. Carve a name in the arm, a charmer. With karma to harm, a flight risk. Don't blink or you might miss. Not overt as a slice, more like pairs of loose lips and tight fists. Loose as a noose, tight as a vice grip. Welcome to the beginning of the enzyme.
And that's from his album of the same name, Cancel the Guillotine. It's one of the sharpest tracks he's dropped, in my opinion. It's got big ideas, no filter, guillotine revoked. And now for something that hits a little closer to his chest, the song All Friended Up. And that's from his album Even in Death.
2128, a pain in my chest till I break. A city pace where hate, I hold a straight face to relate. Seen so much, so I stay hushed, little hope, I don't pray. So ugly, rust on all we love, let it rain, we don't break. The rape started, wholehearted, a heart and look a fight. Alone, no limit, no educate, now consume and bite. A breath to free, a contra need another me, no like. I broke a clock.
It's heartfelt and it's haunted, a digital elegy for connections that go beyond the screen. And then let's bring it back to where a lot of folks first met Seez Mics, and that's with a track called Steel from his group Educated Consumers. on the album right here.
Steal, stolen, but only what I need to. I'll steal your pride if I feel that I must do so. Steal, stolen, but only what I need to. I'll steal your tongue if I feel that I must do so. Steal, stolen, but only what I need to. I'll steal your being if I feel that I must do so. A thief in the night when I be seizing the mic. A thief in the night when I be seizing the mic. So many.
It's Pure Bar's 2007 style, showing what made them staples in the underground. And that's just a slice of Seez Mics, his timeline. For more chat up stuff about Seez, go back and watch our first album with him from January 30th, 2022. Jesus. Yeah. Or you can go watch our first album with him. You can go watch our first episode with him. There's a little more talk up about some of what he was up to back then, and it's like our first time meeting him. So if you want to see that stuff, go back and check that out. We last saw Seez in person at the Strange Famous Fest in Denver in summer of 2023. Mm-hmm. That was in person, and then he joined us for some good laughs on the Christmas Strange Famous Christmas episode last year. If you've been paying any attention, you know this guest needs no dramatic buildup, but he'd likely like one. And that'll depend on how AWOL1 was feeling the moment I texted him for the intro. Before that, we'll hear a fresh round of Would He Eat It from Adrian and Cas One. Then it'll go into the intro, and then we'll be back with Seez Mics. So don't go anywhere. We're here with Seez Mics.
And just in case, Cas may be making Philly cheesesteaks and may have been too busy to give me a
okay.
thing. He may be too busy to answer a question.
Okay.
He's busy making cheesesteaks. You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
We'll be back with Seez
Here we
Mics.
go.
Hey, Cass. When I came across today's dish, it was a no-brainer, since apparently it's popular in your town of Evansville, Indiana. It's a sandwich that used to use calf brains, but since the outbreak of mad cow disease in '86, has been switched to pig's brains. To make a brain sandwich, you need to have cold hands to remove the outer membrane because warm hands tend to melt them. Then you dip them in batter and fry the fragile brains up in an oil-filled cast iron skillet. Then place them on a toasted bun with mustard, onions, and pickles. The flavor is said to be incredibly mild, and any nastiness is masked by the mustard. If you try to get one at the fall festival, plan on arriving early and spending hours in line at the brain booth for this Evansville staple. Anyway, Cass, have you tried and would you eat a brain sandwich?
I'll have you know I have had it. I know that you're trying to hit close to home. It's gross. It's like eggs. It's got the consistency of eggs. It's not something that I would eat. They did switch to pig brains now. What you all need to look up is a little thing called the Fall Festival, the West Side Nut Club Fall Festival in Evansville, Indiana. It has a line wrapped around, a full city block to get these brain sandwiches. But yeah, it's gross. I don't recommend them. Maybe for the experience and to tell somebody that you ate a brain and that you're a zombie. But that's about it. I know Seez, I know Seez's temperament, and he would calmly eat a brain sandwich. And he would eat the entire thing, and I imagine Seez would be, afterwards be like, I didn't like that at all. Just, calmly, there wouldn't be, much to do about it, but that the temperament of Seez, in the comments, am I right? But what about you guys? Would you all eat that? When you come to Evansville, will you try a brain sandwich?
Hey, what's up, podcast world? This is AWOL1, and one of my favorite shows is DOD45 with Art by Ty. And today we have a special guest. Hold on to your radios and warm up to your favorite podcast, DOD45. I am AWOL1, your friendly neighborhood rap dude who likes to draw things. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45.
Welcome. Seez Mics is here with us. Seez, thanks for joining us.
Thanks again for having me. It's just, I'm so honored to be a part of the list of guests that you've had on here and to be on twice. It's just amazing to me. So thank you for having me on, especially on short notice.
No problem. You're chasing Cas One, so that means we're gonna have him on a couple of more times. He wants to be the most, but whatever.
Well, he's a horrible person, so I think once was enough. I love Cas. I do love me some Cas.
All right, so for the next 45 minutes, I'm gonna do you a drawing, and we're gonna chop it up. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna chat it up about the album that we've been planning to get you in here for so long. Just things have been just so hectic, but we're gonna be chatting it up about with S.F.R. So I'm gonna draw. I feel like time is the concept to do with this album. So I'm gonna do like an old rundown clock and some imagery that's specific to the whole album. So
all right.
And if you don't have any objections with that, well, I'll set the timer and we'll get going. Timer is set. All right, let's break the ice with a couple of random pick your poison questions.
Okay, I love these.
Little Caesars pizza or hot dog from a gas station roller?
Man, I got to go with the hot dog. I mean, they're both just, you're begging for death 30 seconds later, but I've eaten my fair share of hot dogs off of the gas station roller. In fact, the pool season started in our neighborhood. And at one point, I was standing on one side of the pool, where the hot dogs and hamburgers were, trying to get my wife's attention. And so I was waving my arms like crazy. I couldn't get her attention. I was like, well, I did just eat 7 hot dogs. I could use the steps to go burn the calories. And somebody said 7. I said, maybe 8. And then I walked off, and they were like, God, he's pretty funny. I was like, we're not joking here, dog. Hot dog.
What, are you a pizza snob at all?
No, I fucking love hot dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really do. I mean,
there's really not a whole lot wrong with those hot dogs on the roller, right? I mean, they're pretty damn good.
Other than the assholes that they're made out of.
Yeah.
Other than the hot dog itself.
Right. Yeah. No,
but listen, they taste fine.
Red Fox has a great quote. He says, "You're going to feel like a dummy in the hospital, being the only one dying of nothing. Like, you might as well enjoy life while you can." So.
Oh, that's a great quote. All right, here's another one. When you're traveling alone, is it Four Seasons or Best Western?
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever stayed in a Four Seasons. Definitely stayed in a Worst Western. If I'm by myself, I'll just sleep outside and not even in my car. I'll just go in the trunk. But if I've got my wife and kids with me, we're just, no expense can be spared. Four Seasons it is.
Yeah, I've never been. I guess it's Four Seasons where that TV show, those take place in Four Seasons hotels. I don't even know.
Oh, the White Lotus?
Yeah, the White Lotus.
That's a good question. I don't know.
The one in Thailand, the newest one, is in a Four Seasons.
So Four Seasons are like super high class, right? I don't know much about them.
I don't know.
So it's interesting because I know Four Seasons is so it is a brand of hotel, and the way someone's like, I'll just Google something, but it's like a search engine. I wonder if someone's like, I'm going to Four Seasons it up. I wonder if they have any complaints about being associated with that show. Assuming you've watched it.
I think they're booked out.
Yeah, they're now booked out. Yeah, they're now all like those hotels are complete. That place is completely booked out. So it was a good thing for them.
Do you think they had to pay? Do you think the show had to pay to use the name?
I don't think so. We listened to a podcast that they talk about it quite a lot, and I remember they were talking about how that's now a big thing. The public is now going to like all these hotels because of the TV show. Like once something comes big on TV, the public fucking goes all over it.
Hey, if you ever wanted to have your younger brother jerk you off, come to our hotel.
Spoilers.
I'm sorry. I just assumed you'd seen it. I mean,
I haven't seen it yet.
Not the new season, but it's not like you were. What were you expecting to not happen?
Right. You got to get pretty far down the list for that one, but.
Yeah. All right, here we go. What 2 more, and then we'll go. We'll get into the album.
You can get a Four Seasons yacht and a private jet.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's why we've never stayed in one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course we haven't. Well, all right. A never-ending family group text of season's greetings or a friend group text that breaks down every plot point of every NCIS season?
Ooh. Having never seen NCIS, I'll just do that because I've watched so much crappy TV. Why not add another show into there? So I'll go with that one.
Well, do you not like being part of the family text that just endless goes on?
I'll see you guys when I see you. We don't need to text still.
And then let Mike Tyson handle your children's education, or let Tyson chicken nuggets handle their nutrition.
I mean, I feel like the risk is that Tyson is pretty mentally volatile, but I think if he's on the up and up, if he's on his SSRs or whatever it is, then I would trust him. He actually seems like a pretty thoughtful, smart guy when he's not beating the piss out of motorists. Do you know where I live, where I grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland? Oh. That's where he got in the road rage incident.
Oh, really?
Not far from where I grew up.
Oh, shit. Good thing it wasn't you.
No, exactly. Yeah. I'd have a much cooler story than eating hot dogs at the pool.
That's true.
And probably a nice settlement check.
And a nice settlement check. And about 15 less teeth.
Well, take the good with the bad.
One last one. Skim milk or a cup of cereal milk that's been sitting out since yesterday?
Oh, man. Growing up, skim milk was like an ever-present staple for all the other things that we didn't have. The effort put into making sure we had skim milk was odd. So I'm going to go with the poison milk that's been sitting out. What cereal? That's a big
Oh, that's
thing.
True. Let's just say it's like
Can I pick Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Okay, yeah, because that's not even milk anymore. That's just sugar.
It's sour cream.
Right,
Cinnamon Toast sour cream.
I think I kind of did that the other day. My daughter likes Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I get up earlier than everybody else. Like, I know she didn't eat this morning, but
oh, does she not like to drink the milk?
My daughter does a lot of things very well. Finishing food is not one of them. A lot of just random. It's so funny because my wife and I are like over the top neat freaks. Our son, we sort of joke about how like he's a little boy, so it's not like he's like a maid or anything, but he's pretty clean. And our daughter's just a trail of destruction like everywhere she goes.
That's funny. Maybe it's her way of rebelling from you guys.
Maybe, yeah. She's like, I'm my own person. Clean this shit up.
All right.
Why would she clean it up?
Yeah, exactly.
When you guys are cleaning it up.
That's now I know how she's thinking.
Yeah. All right. Let's do. Let's. I got one for you here.
Let's do it.
Is it more weird that we eat animals, or is it more weird that we think it's weird that we eat animals?
That's a great question. That's a great way to put it. I mean, I just think from an evolutionary standpoint, at some point the animals probably tried to eat us. So it was like, turnabout's fair play. At some point, maybe in the future, we'll figure out that there's better ways to get the nutrients, and that, that means of survival is no longer necessary in terms of eat or be eaten. But I think it's kind of weird. I completely understand people's concerns with the treatment of animals and how inhumane that can get. But the idea that eating animals, even when they've been humanely, there's no other way to put it, but butchered or slaughtered, like, I think it's weird that people feel that that's weird. But to your point about hot dogs and what was it, the chicken nuggets and the kids' nutrition, like we've taken it a little too far. Frozen chicken nuggets are basically like, I do feel like when animals become sentient, they'll be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I had this thought when I was eating a lamb. Was it a lamb burger?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I love a lamb burger. I'm not. I don't eat much meat. The family's mostly vegetarian and vegan. But when I'm at a place and I can get something like that or a buffalo burger, I'm kind of all about it. But I was eating this lamb burger and I was thinking, I was kind of trying to decide, like, is this cruel of me? And then I started thinking, well, when a fucking lion is eating me out in the jungle, I don't think the lion's ever going like, is this cruel of me?
He's not concerned with the cruelty to the human being that he's devouring. I look at it like this, and it's funny because, like those single-use plastic bags, whenever I exercise or like go somewhere, I always have those single-use plastic bags stowed away in like my trunk or my bag. I feel like they're just an abomination of humanity, but they've already been created. So I might as well use it. Like if I can like quintuple use the plastic bag, at least I'm doing something. It's just the animal's going to die one way or the other. Like let it, let it have a good life and then let it serve a purpose. Again, I realize that people find that to be a completely disgusting way of looking at things, but it's funny. My daughter, particularly when she was younger, she'll be 8 soon, but she'll still eat a steak here and there, but she would like just house steak, and then I'd be like, do you want a hamburger? And she's like, no, I want a steak. I was like, well, it's the same thing. It's beef. She was like, no, it's not the same thing. What do you mean? I was like, what comes from a cow? At some point, like the light bulb's going to go off. She'd be like, this is terrible. You're a horrible father. I want to be a vegetarian like Adrian.
No, some people just do it that way and some people aren't. It's all right.
Yeah. My son mostly won't eat meat, but when we're eating meat, like him and I will share it. And I actually I really don't love it that much, but there are certain meats like an elk steak, or there are certain meats that I don't ever get to eat. Yeah. And I'm like, let's do that.
Well, you guys will grab wings.
I will grab chicken.
And
wings
actually,
every once
I'll
in a
eat
while.
fish too.
Yeah.
If that's the only option, I'll eat fish.
But
Will
I
you
prefer
cook fish? I feel like that's harder to cook than...
I've done it, but it's probably best that I don't.
Okay.
Adrian's a great cook, but when she cooks fish, it's like.
I'm pretty
Very
sure
thorough.
this isn't done. It's still, the salmon still looks pink.
Yeah.
So we better keep it on there until it's a black.
Okay.
Sorry. What about sushi then?
Oh, that's all I want to eat.
There you
Adrian won't. Oh, Adrian
No,
won't
I
eat
won't.
sushi.
I just
Okay.
veggie rolls.
But it's pretty much all I eat. Is that I'll eat that. I could eat that every single day.
Okay.
Okay, here's what I did. I wrote down a bunch of these questions for the album. This was the way that I felt like we could get every track in there and still keep it within this 45-minute thing. So you ready for this? It's almost like a little game.
I was born ready.
Okay, before I ask you who actually has the best verse on With S.F.R, let's get into a discussion. I have questions about specific tracks. So, Grinding Halt featuring Sage Francis.
Brought us to a grinding halt. You ever fainted on a stage because you held your breath and awoke to a crowd who was applauding the smell of death? No stress. That's not a blue chip, that's a blue pill. Hustle culture got you running suicide drills. They only work if you believe in witches, fairies, and voodoo. Tony doesn't die at the end of the series, you do. Now what does it mean to be acting in bad faith? Is that like rapping?
Did you write your verse before or after Sage turned his in?
So the whole point of the With album, well, there's a lot of points, but one of them was to be collaborative, but also understanding what I was asking people to do. So it's actually the second installment of what I hope to be a serial of albums. So the concept of With is each album is me with a specific type of MC featured on the song. So to that point, and I will answer your question in my own roundabout way, I would just send everybody the song or the demo, the beat, my verse, and a hook. I was like, you can do the hook, record the way that I've laid it out. You can do your own, version of it, but I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible conceptually for you. I need a 16-bar verse. That's all I'm asking for. So every verse that I'd send to people, I had already recorded. When I sent the version that I sent to Sage, it's the same verse, but I actually re-recorded it. Certainly when I heard Sage's verse, I was like, all right, well, like mine has to be perfect in every conceivable way, because he absolutely came with it, and because he's Sage, and I always want to bring everything I've got to every song that I've done. The guy who did the beats is a guy named Speaks, and I'll discuss how I know him and everything a little bit down the line. But at one point he was like, yo, you're so good, and it's just so clear that you're recording on like this terrible setup. You should get a microphone. Because before I never liked having recording setups wherever I lived. I wanted to, if I was going to leave my house to go do something, to record, it would make me be prepared. I would have everything memorized, and I was afraid if I did things at home, I would just get lazy. So I never bought a really good mic or any good setup. And so when I redid my verse, it was because Speak said, you got to get a better microphone, a pop guard, the sound deadening behind it and all that stuff. So I didn't rewrite my verse after hearing Sage's, but I did re-record it. And it's funny, just Sage, I think I don't know if he has the best verse on the album because I think each song has its own life, but I think he's got the best line. Tony doesn't die at the end of the series, you do.
Tony doesn't die at the end of the series, you do.
About the Tony Soprano thing. That was just that's so clever.
What was the most Sage thing about Sage that happened during the making of that track?
Honestly, that line, I first heard of Sage during the Scribble Jam battles, and then began to. Well, actually, I'd heard in the same night. Peace to my homie Artemis, based out of DC. He put me on to Scribble Jam and Sick of Waiting Tables in the same night. Yeah, I don't remember what year it was, early 2000s. But Sage, it's like the Brother Ali line in the battle. There's just so many one-liners off of, all of his records. He knows, he has a knack for saying the coolest thing in the moment, You're the Jezebeli, those kind of things.
That's the best.
Right.
Honestly, I'm asking you of your heart. I know I'm not asking you what you know of yourself. I'm asking
Oh, yeah.
of what you know of yourself. Am I the Jezebel? Am I the Jezebel?
More like Jezebeli.
Right. So, in that sense, as soon as I heard that, I was like, fuck, I've already heard all my verses on this album. That's not, I don't have any one line that's as good as that.
Yeah.
But I also think, I'll say this too, man. I've been pretty honored to work with a lot of people, some of the guests that you've had on the show. I've done songs with Slug and Open Mike Eagle and some, a lot of other people. But not that anybody hasn't ever brought, their A++ game, but Sage, you can really tell, particularly when it's something for his for people on his label.
Yeah.
There's never a point where I'm like, I kind of, mailed that one every time. It's just, bringing the heat.
Yeah.
And he certainly did it for this one. I also thought, to that point, when I had a batch of beats that I was sitting on, that was the one where I was like, I hear Sage on this. Very aggressive, sort of playfully punch you in the dick, kind of beat.
You already knew. We'll take, I guess how I have it, I kind of laid out with each track. So speaking now on A Little On Us, featuring Mopes.
But when the shit hits the fan, we all get a little on us. We kept out of sight, floods and levees breached. I walk the sights in white gloves, collecting memories. Wipe my last whites in mud where you can bury me. I swipe right and light the match to my effigy. It's me versus everything. George Brett machete swing. Taking heads in heavy bling, keep it in a box like my wedding ring. Wait for it to pop.
How much time did it take Mopes to send his verse? 7 minutes, 45 minutes, or 3 years of inner monologue?
Once again, I had the experience with the first With album. There was really once somebody said that they were going to do it, there wasn't a lot of tracking people down. I might have had to send 2, maybe 3 emails, but I never waited longer than somebody said they were going to take.
Did you find it easier with this album, since it's the label you're on, than the previous one?
Yes, and mainly because I had Sage's first. Right. I also think of Sage, Strange Famous, it's not, we don't go to an office, but I'm like, the boss is going to be at the Christmas party, and everyone's like, all right, fuck, I got to go too. That kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of getting a little on us, and I'm taking this just literally.
Okay.
When you're eating cereal or soup, do you get a little on your beard, or are you like me and 90% of it dribbles down your chin?
I'm the worst. Every shirt that I have, my wife has, I don't know what the brand is, but one of those stain removers.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, just order another one. Every time I eat.
What happens? How come you can't keep it in your?
Just stupid, man. I mean, when it comes down, I'm not one of those dudes that men are just the worst. But when it comes to certain things, men are just flat out stupid.
I really can't. When I'm eating cereal, I can't keep it on the spoon. I'd
like to say it's I've got these intellectual, I'm doing these deep pondering while I'm eating cereal. It's like, no, I'm just like, who won the Knicks game? And I turn my head and I knock the ball over and just get shit all over my lap.
Well, okay, what about this on Another Morning featuring Lee Reed?
Another morning, I yawn and it won't calm me for just a moment. I'm going, I'm zoning, but in the minute it hit, all the grips of my soul rip. Gotta get up and get gone, kid. Days of struggle, aching the muscle to maintain the hustle just to pay some sucker off. Building debt, the pills and meds and shelter bills and dental drills and still nothing stop. Chop, chop, the pace, the hop.
Lee Reed sounds like someone you'd meet at a socialist book club and then end up building a compost toilet with. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I'm not like a Ben Shapiro capitalist, but I feel like I'm a very different politically than Lee Reed, but I thoroughly enjoy his perspective, and particularly when it comes to politics and his music. Yeah. For this song that we did, I was like, I don't know if this is the forum to like, let's have a debate, right? So I felt like Another Morning that's another thing I like about these particular, the Wiz stuff was, certainly somebody could say, no, I don't want to do that concept, but I think it's fun for me to be like, I don't think I've heard this from you in your catalog.
Yeah.
And, like Lee definitely, he has a lane that he sticks to predominantly, and I thought, well, let's do something that I haven't heard from him, and maybe his audience has. And another thing is, I get pretty obsessive about how people's voices sound, and I just thought, man, his voice would sound great over this beat. And I thought both of our voices sounded good over the beat, but in particular, his really meshed well with the tones and everything of it.
Yeah, and I think I think doing your project, I think that makes it fun for people. Like if they're, if they have a specific thing that they do, it's sometimes nice to be able to go like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for me to do something that's not quiet.
Yeah, I want to step outside. I remember talking on the first Strange Famous release I did, Live Long Enough to Learn, the lead single, or one of the single off that is called Figure 'Em Out with Open Mike Eagle and Slug of Atmosphere. And it's kind of a fun, lighthearted, the verses are all fun and kind of lighthearted. I remember talking to Slug and he was like, I enjoyed being able to step outside and just say puke Skywalker, because the atmosphere stuff tends to get a little heavy, and it was fun to step out. I was like, I'm glad I gave you that opportunity, and thanks for not charging me for doing this, because this will be by far my most popular song. Not because of me.
Who also with the Lee Reed track, who's more miserable about mornings, you or him?
Man, honestly, and you two can relate. I was never a morning person, but once I had kids, you need time to yourself, and you can either get it pretty late at night or pretty early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I have a tendency to do both. So I've tried to get up at least an hour before everybody, and I never thought I'd say it, but I really enjoy it. It sucks, you're like, oh, another day of existence. But once you're up and you've had some coffee or whatever, you're like, all right, cool. Like, I'm glad I've got a little bit of time to just get my mind together.
Yeah.
For the daily onslaught.
The initial climbing out of bed part.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I shouldn't say, I don't, for all I know, maybe Lee's up and at him every day at 4:30 doing like a kickboxing routine. I don't know.
It's likely.
Maybe.
Okay. Walter Wrong featuring Swell.
Listen, Donnie, these men of power are cowards. Donnie, these men are nihilists. Past lives defined by courage under fire, never transpired in their wildest. These pioneers lied with such a gift, so prolific in distraction. Enough time passed in the bullshit and truth kind of mixed. Lies became myth.
Who's calling who an asshole with the use of the Walter sample? You calling Swell the asshole, or Swell calling you the asshole?
So it's funny, man. My brother-in-law is just an awesome guy, and he's very funny. We have very good, insightful conversations, and he liked Big Lebowski. He's like, I really enjoyed that song. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm kind of Walter sometimes. Like, I might be wrong, I might be right, but I'm an asshole about it. He's like, yeah, you think? I was like, all right, well.
Am I wrong? You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of the point of the song, where it was like, you can get your point across and you can be correct without being a real asshole about it, but I have a tendency not to do that. So to answer your question, we're both the asshole.
You're both the asshole, but you're both the one saying you're not an asshole. Or what is he? What is Lebowski says? He says, No, it just
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
yeah.
We're the astagonist in that song.
What about if the Coen brothers were producing a strange, famous movie? What's the plot line?
Yeah. Do you think they make them up as they go along? I mean, everything's so tightly wound. I feel like they've got it mapped out beforehand, or maybe they're just masters of.
No, I think they've got it. I think that they've got it down to fucking every little point.
Something to do with time. I don't know what. And by the end of the movie, having been in and watched it, I'm not sure I would know what. But like, I don't always understand the point of their movies, but they look cool. The acting's
they're
great.
cool. They're well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like with S.F.R.
Exactly. I'm not sure what happened, but it was great.
Okay, Right on Time featuring Black Lick.
Yeah.
They locked my father up in prison, they forgot it in church. So what the fuck, I look like worried about the start of a verse. Black Lick, I ain't gotta tell a lie, I'm not you. But if I did, I would probably say I listen to you. I'm not your friend, not your fam. No, I'm not your man. I've been choicing from that shit. I made a chance. I hear words to these songs in my mind. I keep a gun under my bed.
How do you match the energy of Black Lick without punching a hole in your own chest?
Right. So I was in a duo for a long time called Educated Consumers, and the producer TECK later on went by J Bomb. Very anthemic boom bap beats. And I always felt like my role with that was have a good hook, make my voice sound gravelly, and have a verse that's not like Cancel the Guillotine or Cruel Fuel, crazy all over the place shit. Just sound really dope on it. Not a simple concept, but one that doesn't take, a lot of deep thought by the listener. So to that point, it's funny because a lot of people have said that's their favorite song on the record. I think it's the easiest one to just like Grinding Halt. It's like, I think if I play that in party, people are like, are we about to fight? Like what's happening? Whereas like Right on Time, I think would fit right in at a jam. And then again, I laid my verse first, and I knew that I felt tempted to really get after it because I knew Black Lick would. And then I thought, all right, what I don't want to be like jogging down the street with him and then like being like, I'm faster. And like,
Right.
I was like, let's just be running at the same clip. So I think the level of intensity was the same, but I think he turned his verse around the fastest. I'm not even sure I pressed send on the email saying, "Can you send the verse?" And he already sent it. That's how fast.
That tracks.
Right. he's so prolific.
Yeah. He's a man. You can tell he's a man about it. Yeah, he's a doer. He's a man about getting the work done.
So from now on, if we say he's so prolific, can we say he's so Mopes? Like, would people understand that? Or, I don't know.
Maybe not now because the name doesn't even exist anymore.
Right. That's true. Shit.
I think people still haven't caught on.
Yeah,
No.
They will eventually. If you had to pitch this track Right on Time to an exec for a biographical Salvador Dali movie called The Persistence of Right on Time,
yeah, okay.
Who's pitching to the suits, you or Black?
Both of us.
Together.
But you know what we would do? I feel like he and I, that's one thing I haven't done on a With album is to, like a back and forth where it's like, I have my verse, you have your verse. And then sometimes a third verse, like I do a line, you do a line. Like I fill in some stuff, like Smith & Wesson's Deshining was like the best example of that. I feel like Black Lick and I should go into a pitch meeting, but we do a back and forth. Maybe it rhymes, maybe it doesn't, but we could work that like a jigsaw puzzle. That'd be some dope shit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They'd be so confused.
All right, executives out there. The movie. I mean, it's the title of it's perfect.
It writes itself.
Persistence of Right on Time.
I love that.
It's the opening track. Fuck yeah. We're sending Black and Seez your way. So Seez Black.
That's awesome.
Did either of you act?
Black.
Seez Black. Oh yeah, maybe that sounds a little.
Black Mics.
Black Mics. There we go.
There's got to be a rapper named Black. Well, there's definitely a rapper named Black Mike. The question is there a plural Black Mics?
And then so Monkey in the Middle. I'm just cruising through this.
What about Lick Mics?
45
Lick Mics.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, as someone who smelled microphones after using, I don't know if I want to do that, but
it's
more
the
power to
worst
somebody
smell.
who wants to do that.
It's that smell of spit, like old spit. So gross.
Bad.
Yikes. That's a good pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison, right. Monkey in the Middle Ground featuring Runt.
The monkey in the middle ground, and I
I've been making pictures out of dirt, all this hurt in my work, trying to find out what I'm worth. Measured by the moments that don't sit well with evil. Talent is determined by the worst kind of people. Good in my heart, but I walk with the dark. It sits in my bones and it tears skin apart. Living through commitments, a broken down sentence. Life is a ride, but I never need admittance.
Who's the monkey? What's the middle ground? And were you thinking of the monkey I drew for you in our first episode when you wrote your verse?
To answer your last question, absolutely. I feel like politically, I try to listen to both sides of, every argument, whatever the argument or topic is. I try to listen to as many different perspectives as I can, and I tend to land in the middle. And I feel like Runt is somebody, sort of the opposite of Lee Reed, where like I haven't heard a whole lot of overtly political stuff from him. And, it's not like we were like, fuck Biden and fuck Trump, like in the song, but it was sort of my attempt to land somewhere in the middle. I think we're both the monkeys. And the idea was, as humans have evolved, and I think I was saying this the last time I appeared on your excellent program, DOD45, when I was discussing Even in Death, about how humans have, evolved with these survival skills that we that don't always serve the uses that they used to, hundreds of or tens of thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've evolved to be monkeys in the middle that can sort of see both sides of an argument and try and be somewhere in the middle. So Runt was the person that once the whole SF Digi thing kicked off, the jiving scientist, when I was listening to everybody's stuff, Runt was the person I knew on a personal level. Obviously, Old Boy Rhymes would also be in this, but I didn't really know Runt personally at all. Like I'd met everybody else in person in one, category or another, one walk of life or whatever. But from listening to his music, and then the interaction we had about doing this record, because I think he was really the only person I was like, I hope he knows who I am, I hope when I'm like, we're both on Strange Famous, I hope he's not like, wait, where is he on the website? Right. You know what I mean? But like,
because everybody else, you already had a relationship with everybody else.
Yeah. If I was like, yo, you know how I get down, I'll fucking kill you if you don't do this. But like with Runt, it was more like we're homies on the label. Like, we haven't met, but would you do this on the string? And without, no hesitation. I think he actually had the second fastest turnaround time. But the point being, he's got it's interesting because I think his physical appearance, he looks like the kind of dude like, I don't want to fight that guy at the bar, but he's not that guy. Like he's a very calm, measured person.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you.
He's another one with the Lee Reed, the voice thing too, where I was like Blacklick there's like some more nasal stuff in his voice that I felt like would work well with the tones on Right on Time. Whereas the gruffness of Runt's voice, I thought really, and there's a sense of urgency in his voice and in the Jivin' Scientist music that I thought would mesh well with the pace and tenor of the Monkey in the Middle Ground beat.
Yeah. I'm also, I don't know if obsessed is the word, but people's cadence and voice and their tonally, even in like collaboration and stuff like that stuff goes a long way.
Yep.
Just the sound of it. It makes a huge difference. So yeah, I'm happy it's always makes me happy to hear people who consider that as part of the thing, and you clearly do.
Yeah, honestly, man, I think when you listen to particularly rap, but all vocals, spoken word, it's the content, the delivery, and then just the voice, and the voice is the first thing it's like mostly the voice, the Gangstar song. It's the first thing you're going to notice. And so, I mean, some of the worst fucking rappers of all time just have dope voices and they get away with being terrible.
Yeah. I often don't even have any fucking clue what anyone's saying.
Right.
I just listen to what the sound of their voice like an instrument, and then I'm like, oh shit, I don't even know what they're saying. But
right.
Here we go. Here's a question still with the monkey in the middle. Picture Runt back in 5th grade. Is he kicking it with the art kids, skate kids, science fair legends, recess rebels, class clowns, or the lunch line hustlers? What's his clique?
I think he's one of those dudes that's able to move in circles without much effort. And he's also the kind of person that, like, if there was a big fight after school, he'd like bring everybody together and be like, we're all people. Come to my whiskey bar.
Yeah,
Wait, we're in middle school. Trust me.
Trust me. Yeah, Runt's still running a whiskey bar in middle school. That's what's
coming.
Okay, Over It, featuring Old Boy Rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it. I'm not that typical rapper that live around with a swagger, bragging about my stats and shit. It doesn't matter. Sympathy for the devil. I'm bumping some Mickey Jagger. Grab a mic as when it scatter. Faster than antimatter. Than partying had a ball. Banging Barbies in the stalls. Now I want to raise an army to charge in Carnegie Hall. Like that artistry that's scrawling dark and dirty walls. I get down with hip hop.
If you and Old Boy got tapped to remake Rain Man, who's stepping into the Dustin Hoffman shoes, and what's the hyper-focused talent if it ain't card counting?
Great question. God, you asked the best questions. Definitely basketball. So it's funny, so I know Jesse the Tree, who we'll get to. I know he's a baller. I think he actually played in college. Old Boy Rhymes, he's one of those dudes who, like, from the videos that I saw, it was always kind of like the waist up or just his face. I was like, you could tell me this guy's 6'3" or 5'7", right?
Yeah.
Like, so when he said he was 6'1", and then I saw a video of him hooping, I feel like we would lock in well. Our games would mesh well with hoops. I feel like I would be the Tom Cruise character because Old Boy Rhymes is smarter than me. There's no question that Dustin Hoffman was the smarter one.
What's something you were definitely over but still agreed to do out of politeness?
I don't know. The one thing I try to teach my kids in terms of just as a principle that, you know, you can apply it once you start drilling down in different specifics is be a good team player. Be the kind of person that other people want to be around, and certainly that can get you in trouble. I'm sure that there's something that will pop in my head that as soon as I say it, I'll be like, you have to edit that out. You know, it's like so.
Sure.
Yeah.
We can circle. I mean, if it comes up, if it happens to you, you can just blurt it out, and I'll enter it.
Okay. I never liked going to church. I did it from my dad.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I went because my grandma wanted me to go, but I never liked it.
Yeah. Just the sense of relief when it was over. I was like, why do I feel like I just escaped something?
Because you did.
Hell.
How many things were you over by the time this album was finally mixed?
I once joked. So after the first With dropped, I was performing. I did the album release party in conjunction with The World Has No Idea documentary showing in DC. And then for people unfamiliar, that was the documentary about our friend Idea from Idea and Abilities, RIP. And so at one point during the set, I was like, With is a concept album. The concept is I do a third of the work and keep all of the money. Right? So like which is a joke on me because there's no money. So
yeah.
You know, but the point that I'm making is, I was so fortunate with Speaks. So I'll get into how I knew him. We grew up in the DMV, so DC, Maryland, Virginia. We both grew up in Maryland, and we both used to troop down to open mics down in DC and just hit it off. We were, there was hundreds of people there, but some people I clicked with better than others. And I think it was a summer, or there was at some point where I was going to the University of Maryland in College Park, so not far from where he was living. He had a really bad, like shattered his leg or something. Mm. And so there was like one summer where I would drive him to open mics, and, we bonded. And then I think he might have already been in the Air Force. And then he joined went and did something with the Air Force. I didn't see him for like 20 years after that.
Oh, wow.
And then, one day, just the timing of it was crazy. The first With album I did, the beats were all done by this guy named Scott Kuzner. Goes by Father Scott. And a couple of years later, when I was ready to get back to work on the second With, like on a Tuesday morning, I emailed Scott and said, do you have time, the bandwidth to do that? And he had too much going on. And later that day, Speaks hit me up. He was living in Thailand and was like, here's a beat that I made. It might have even been the Grinding Halt beat. But I was like, yo, this is heat. So, let me hear. Like, I didn't really know that you made beats because I knew him as an MC in a group called Lab. And so he just started. But after like 3 or 4 beats, I was like, all right, well, these are all great. Like, I have this need for beats for the next With album. Are you familiar with it? And he was like, holy shit, like Keep Your Cool, which is the second track off of the first with K Chromosome and Priest the Nomad. He was like, that's my gym workout song. So like I'm totally down. And it was, it was serendipity, whatever you want to call it. But so it was one thing that he was willing to make the beats. Another thing, I was like, we'll split, the money and everything. And I told Strange Famous, like, just lie how much we made, give it to me, and then I'll give him half. But I was like, we'll split the money if there's ever any licensing deal and all that stuff. Obviously, like, money will be right down the middle. But we need to figure out who's going to mix and master this, and I'm happy to cover the cost. He's like, I'll do it. So it was a relatively stress-free creative process. And the technical side of it, and I have so much love for Speaks and all the people on Strange Famous who got down, all the people that have supported it.
And it's good they go this way because that makes you want to keep doing the widths.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I got to figure out the concept for the next one, but I was like, it'd be pretty funny if I was like with Seez Mics. It was just a solo album, but.
Let's go to As a Child, As a Master, featuring Jesse the Tree.
Smooth amphibian, cruise to oblivion. Blue suede pumas when I move, stay vigilant. How I let the moon tone rough from the ciggy lit. Tower over cruise like a redwood view. Check one, bless you, son, I'm 10'2" with a blade full of lead in a head on cool. Seven neck of the flush, spread of bread on two. While they searching for boogeymen, they can wear a bed too.
Who pulls off the fit swap better? You rocking Jesse's basketball sweats or Jesse strutting in your vest and cargo shorts?
I'm going to go out on a limb. That's the best question you've asked me. I don't know if it's the best question in the history of DOD45, but that's a good one. I would say that, Jesse's effortlessly cool, so he's going to pull that off. I'm very hairy, thus the monkey that you're drawing. So there's a reason, when I played JV basketball in high school, I definitely had a T-shirt under that jersey. So
yeah, Jesse can pull it off, but he has to wear. Well, how tall are you? 6'1",
5'11" and 5/4.
Oh, but you're taller because I think isn't Jesse like 7'3" or sorry 6'3" or 6'4"?
Yeah, he's tall.
Jesus,
he's got to be
7'8".
I'm barely
Maybe
6
9.
feet tall. Like if I'm standing on my heels or my tippy toes, then I'm 6 feet tall. But he's definitely 6'3" or 4.
Okay, because the vest might be a little small on him.
Hey, but like I see, he's just one of those dudes. Like whatever he's doing, I'm like, yeah, that looks right.
It works. Yeah. What about this? You're Jesse's high school basketball coach.
Okay.
What's your style? Full Bobby Knight riding him hard, Gene Hackman and Hoosiers building him up with a big speech energy, or straight Teen Wolf mode, letting him coast on natural talent and launching half court shots for the crowd.
Gotta go Teen Wolf. Let him cook. You don't tell a cloud to get out of the sky. You know what I mean?
Okay, because I've tried to get to this lurk. The time goes so quickly on our show, man. It's fucking crazy.
When you're having fun, what is it? Time flies when you're eating bonbons. What is it?
One of those.
Oh, fucking bonbon sounds good.
It does.
Things change, or Things Must Change, feature an early adopted.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified of death, it's not that, just shook, I ain't done enough shit, look deeper, wonder if I even really live, said I did already more than most, I ain't them though, I am him, yo comprendo, ain't contento, in my head where I live, don't leave, bitch I've been home, addict in my dome, cobwebs, don't get caught in, intrusive thoughts are sticky, icky, creepy.
Who's more likely to be secretly fluent in Spanish, you or Early?
Whoa. I'm gonna go with Early. And if I could say, so the last time I was on DOD45, we were discussing Even in Death, which is an album that I had worked on with my homie Cubby Bear. We started it before he passed, and then after he passed, some people like DJ Cas One and Alexander Brown did immense work getting the files and everything. If you're interested in hearing about the breakdown of that album, go check out my appearance on DOD45. I think it's episode 26.
Wow, look at you.
Hey. But so Early Adopted, I know that he had a friend who passed under similar circumstances to Cubby. He had Early Adopted, did the video for All Friended Up. And when cool Things Must Change, when I started writing my verse, I remember thinking like, I've done enough songs. I did an album about Cubby, but I've said what I had to say. But once I got that verse down, I was like, this feels right. It's the right tone for the verse. And I know early, hopefully he would find it cathartic to do something similar. So
yeah, that's cool.
It worked out well. He's another guy on Strange Famous. So I was like, wow, like I'd sort of heard of him, but Tarred and Feathered was the first full album that I sat down and listened to. And he's just got just a very complete artist overall.
Yeah. Now that's the magic of Strange Famous.
Yes.
What's one thing in indie rap you wish would change, but you know damn well won't?
So the question is what I want to change, but I know won't. Was that what it was?
Yeah. What's one thing you wish would change since things must change?
I say this as I'm as guilty of it as anybody. Like, and I know you've had your issues with Spotify. Like streaming is, I wish Bandcamp had a streaming app.
Me too.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want to support people's music by buying it. And I think if I were on Bandcamp more often, I would.
Yeah.
I get Spotify, like they're just sacks of shit, fuck them. But as a consumer, it is so convenient. You know, we're of an age. I remember you had like, sleeves of CDs in your car trying to change that. Like that was like the old school version of like looking at your phone. It was just not safe. And now you're looking at your phone to change your music. I guess my point just got negated by what I was saying. But point being, from a consumer standpoint, streaming services are great, but I'd like people to do the ethos thing, and myself included, like I'm gonna purchase this person's music.
Yeah.
From whatever platform I happen to be listening to.
And I'm glad you mentioned it because I don't know if enough people actually believe it, and maybe I'm an outlier, but I know so many people hate social media, hate using it, but whenever I see someone who's been on our show or someone's music that I'm a fan of, and they post like new album out, so it's at Bandcamp, like I go buy it.
There you go.
Bandcamp. I think that system works, and I think sometimes people are shooting themselves in the foot by hating all the other shit that's attached to it. But man, I really, when I see someone's music that I like and they've posted new music out on Bandcamp, I'll go buy it. And then listen, I'm not bullshitting you. I'd prefer them to put it on Spotify so I can stream it, like you said.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll buy it, Bandcamp, stream it on Spotify. But I wish Bandcamp had some sort of streaming availability. It makes
that's to that point. Maybe is like you pay $10.99 and then you get infinite acts. Like you are allowed to stream this infinite. But I mean
But
wow, what a novel concept! Like you buy something instead of stealing it, and then you can listen.
But then you're in the same situation. How do they get that $10.90? How's that $10.99 go around to the artist on Bandcamp?
Yeah.
I got to put my grills in now because my tooth just came loose.
Okay.
He's got to get an implant.
Yeah. Man. So shit.
Wait, what happened?
I have a broken tooth.
Okay. Yeah.
I had it dentured in for the start of this conversation because dentures don't work for a tooth like this. But it kept it glued in for a minute. But I knew it was going to eventually come out, and I can't fucking do an episode.
He's just waiting to get to the oral surgeon, and the oral surgeon is booked months out.
Okay.
But if it's so loose, like I'll be talking, and look, the tooth will just start falling out.
Does it hurt when it's out?
No, but I just don't like the way I look.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I bought a grill that holds it in there.
Nice. Okay.
But all right. Okay.
And now he sounds a little different.
Now I sound a little different, and my S's will be a little bulkier with some spit.
It's not like there's S's in Seez Mics, so you'll be fine.
No, none at all. Okay, I'm going to have to go to the Sage's social media alert. I got one last question. I know you have a last song on there that's only you, but I'll put in this from Quit It Now featuring Cas One.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be somebody, I mean I still am, but used to too. Who would've knew that I never would've flew the coop? Walking through the hoops of them people that I used to know, asking if I still do the music that I used to do. You wouldn't get it cause my ego is custom fitted and pivot when it's mission to change it to something different. I'm just living on split decisions and winning arguments.
Was there ever a version called Quit It Later or Let's Circle Back?
Think about quitting at some point. That's a great question. So it's a vocal sample, so we would have had to really work around that, but it didn't come up. But that's, Cas, perfect fit for that song, where it was like, I've talked a lot about mental illness over the years, and self-pity is definitely something that is easy to fall into. But as you get older, particularly once you have kids, it's not a luxury you can afford. So
yeah,
he was the right person to get on that.
Now be real. We're very close with Cas. If Cas One was taking his sweet time sending in his verse, did it ever cross your mind to say, you know what? These other tracks are solid. Maybe this record might accidentally be better without you.
I can't tell you what. So it's funny now that you mention it. He was the only person. Eventually, I was like, come on, dog. Like, you're the person I've known the longest. But when he finally told me what was taking so long, I was like, well, now I feel like an asshole. Not my story to tell. And, nobody died or anything like that. But I do remember, like, it was also a very, God, I wish I could say it. Maybe he'll say it at some point. It was a very Cas One thing to have happen. Nobody was at fault. It was just one of those things that happens in life. Yeah. That's a good question. It's funny because, like, one thing I didn't want to skip over how much I really loved working with Old Boy Rhymes. Like, he was one of those. I was like, yo, this dude's just straight spitter, great voice. I love his backstory. But like, there's nobody that I listen to. I'm like, maybe I would have let the album go without having that song on there. I knew that beat was that's in some ways that's the best song on the album. Because I think it's the most, I remember Storm said it was the most single friendly song on the album because I think it's so conceptually broad for for like a wide audience. But I was like, it's got to be Cas on this one. He's the right fit. So
he was the right fit. It seems like on all of the tracks, everyone you had, all were the right fit. Now I don't know if that's just hindsight 2020 or something, or not even that word, whatever the fuck. But it's a solid album.
Thank you.
Then
if I could make this point, it was intentional. So I'm glad that landed with you.
Yeah. Well, and we spoke about when I do the intros, I dial in stuff that to let people who don't maybe know you so that they can know about. But the albums, the with albums, the format, F1s are hard. The format is you're basically, when it's a collab with someone, but it's going to be your verse first, and then their verse, 16 bars.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm saying that for the people who are watching the episode, if they haven't gone and listened to the whole album, I don't know what you just got out of a coma, but now that you're awake, you can't. All those people give fucking solid bars to Seez's solid concept. It's a fucking dope album.
Thank you. And to that point, if you like what they did on that 116 bar verse, imagine how good their entire albums must be. So go check them out.
Exactly. All right. Sage has lurked.
Okay.
So let's hear from Sage from his social media lurk, brought to us by Strange Famous Records with DJ Zol theme music.
Social media lurk.
Seez Mics. Hey Cole, I enjoy scrolling through your Twitter feed a lot. I agree with a lot of what you have to say. I find a lot of what you tweet to be funny and thoughtful, or just plain ridiculous and silly. That's, when we started out on Twitter, that's how it always was. I find it very difficult to enjoy Twitter these days. And maybe it's because of Elon Musk and whatever he did to it. But maybe it's also because there's so many different social media sites and you're seeing the same thing everywhere you go. And you have to check, your responses on each of those sites. So there's less time looking at your actual feed, for me anyway. And I noticed I missed a lot of what you've tweeted, and I'm sorry about that. But I heard all your music, which I still love. In 2020, you tweeted something about how the Cobra Kai series was really doing it for you. And that may have been the first season, 2020. And I do agree the first season was like such a nostalgia punch to the gut. It's like, ooh, there's Mr. Silva. Ooh, they brought him back. Oh, look at that guy. But I feel like by the time we got to the end of the whole series, it really kind of fell flat. But the last season was good. It was just silly, like a soap opera when it just go off the rails. I'm wondering how you felt about the last season of Cobra Kai, but also if there's a series you're watching where the new season is just as magical as the first season. Holla, DOD45, Stage Famous!
Thank you so much, Sage. Thanks, S.F.R. Thanks, Zol, for the theme music. How do you respond to Sage's lurk?
Always good to hear from Sage. A couple things. First, I've noticed Sage is very prolific on social media, and also, or I should say, Mopesian on social media. But so I'm wondering, like, I know that he's an artist full time. I wonder if he makes time within his day to do that. That in itself is kind of a job. I used to be a lot more prolific on it. Speaking of jobs, like I have a day job now. I really enjoy what I do, but it takes up a lot of bandwidth during the day that I can't tell you how many times I was like, that's funny. I should put that on Twitter. I'll do that in 10 minutes. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm the fuck. I forget. Like now it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
I thought Cobra Kai, the strength of it at the beginning was how self-aware it was. It was making fun of itself. Mm-hmm. And then I can't remember if it was the end of this first season. At whatever point where like the kid fell from 3 floors and like broke his back, I was like, all right, well, and then in the last season, like somebody got stabbed to death at a karate tournament. I was like, I get that you're still self-aware, but like you're sort of losing that. I think, when shows were syndicated, or like before in the 80s and 90s, shows that would get syndicated, one season was like 23 episodes. There's just a lot of fluff. And now seasons are like 10 episodes, but 60 episodes of Cobra Kai was maybe 12 too many. 4, 4 you could have done it in 4. There's a cut. My wife and I are rewatching. Every year we try to pick a show to rewatch. Mad Men. Just a complete masterpiece of show. It's not better than The Wire. It's not better than Breaking Bad, but it might be in my top 3. So anyway, I'm going. Don't start asking me about TV, because every night at 12:30, I'm like, you should have gone to bed an hour and a half ago. You're 3 episodes into an Andor season. You're never going to remember.
You've got time for TV. Sage has got time for social media.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, I had a bunch of curveballs, but we can't. We won't be able to get to them. I'll save them for later because I do got to play. An episode just doesn't feel like a complete episode without a question from Dibs.
Okay.
So here's Mr. Dibs with a mayo or Miracle Whip.
Give it up, Mr. Dibs on the turntable.
Listen to more of this.
No, that's why you suck. Hurry up. Sorry about that. Adrian. Hi. What's going on? Sorry, I'm trying to get this worker in line for the basement repurposing, renovation, whatever you call it. And it would be done by now. But apparently the second dude that was going to help, Seez Mics, is the guest on this episode. Therefore, he can't be in my basement today renovating. Because I read online or in some religious text that he's a home renovation specialist and MC extraordinaire. So I already know about the MC extraordinaire part, but here comes the renovation shit, and he's not here doing it. He's on this thing. DOD45. Anyway. So he'll be here tomorrow. Yes, you will, see, to renovate, and you're getting paid in sandwiches. There's no money. There's nothing for your fancy boat or yacht or your boat shoes or your fancy shorts and shots of Demerol. None of those things are happening. No gold. Sandwiches. Because that's where my head's at right now. Renovating the basement and feeding you sandwiches is a method of payment. So that's it.
So I'm not even going to really get fancy with it. Pick some meat, some cheese, some accoutrement, and some goofy bread that only you would eat because you're from New Bruns Castle, Farmingham, or wherever the fuck you live. You pick all those things out. Make it sound really good. I know you'll make it way too fancy. We do. And then the fucking question is, mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? You pick one for the sandwich and one you're spackling the 1982 wood paneling you're going to hang in my basement. Answer the question, hurry up! There's work to do.
Oh, man. Dibs is in peak form.
He is. I got to say, man, it's such a thrill. I remember in the early 2000s when I was coming up with Educated Consumers, and the biggest show that we did was opening for Atmosphere at the 930 Club, which is like this legendary venue on the East Coast in DC, 1,800 people, basically my backyard. And Dibs was the DJ, and I hadn't met him yet. And I was like, that guy's God, so like to be able to be threatened into being beaten with Miracle Whip, is that what he was saying, by the guy I used to think was God? I don't know. Maybe it's not as great as I thought it would be. So two things. It's so funny because I'm sitting in my basement looking at like do-it-yourself projects that any other person could do in maybe 30 minutes by watching YouTube that have been down here for years. And I'm the least handy person that there is. Mainly because I get frustrated easily and I'm just like, fuck it, I can rap. I don't need to do this. BLT on sourdough. Oh. I'm going to go a little bit of mayo, but sprinkle some Old Bay in it, just a little bit. Oh. But the thing on BLT is that I think gets slept on. Not big chunks, but not cut up. You got to slice it thin. Avocado.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Now, Dibs, you need to respond later. Is that too fucking fancy? Avocado?
Listen, if I'm gonna spackle your basement, the least you can do is throw an avocado at me.
But at least you went mayo.
We should ask Dibs. There's not a chance that he has never not thrown an avocado at somebody.
Guaranteed he has.
That's probably what he's doing right now.
Yeah. Dibs always sets the tone for random pick your poison questions, and I think I'm going to give you like 3 of them, and then we'll go to your dish and get you out of here.
Awesome.
What's got better comedy potential? Tyson doing commentary in Beavis and Butthead voices, or Mike Judge taking body shots from the real Mike?
I think after the 3rd body shot, it'd be like, no, just make it stop. So definitely the first.
Tyson on Beavis and Butthead. Would you rather do a full set with a mic that cuts out every few seconds, or have to do crowd work at a 7-year-old birthday party?
Is crowd work? What would I be doing?
Just like maybe you're a magician. Maybe.
Okay. Jeez, at a 7-year-old birthday party,
or a stand-up.
I wasn't even invited, and I showed up.
You're doing material.
Hey, kids. What's the deal with styrofoam? I'd have to go with the mic just because eventually I'd be like, I'll just throw it on the ground. And so I've been at shows where like afterwards people are like, that was epic. Like the mic wasn't working. So they just threw it on the ground and started yelling. I was like, I couldn't hear a fucking thing. That show sucked. Like, that was amazing that the person like really gave it a go, but who are we kidding here?
Right. All right, one more. Have a pebble in your shoe or a tag scratching your neck forever.
Oh, man. So let me ask, do you have like a note in your phone where you just keep adding to these, or do you come up with new ones? Okay.
I come up with, every episode I come up with new ones, and the ones that I don't use, I backlog them into.
Okay. This is a really good one. I'm an assistant coach on my son's t-ball team, and it's at one of those fields that has like the pellets. Oh my God. I don't know how I don't notice it during the practice or the game. It's not like we're like, like a major league field or anything like, nothing's better than grass, but grass is difficult. Anyway, I've had plenty of experience the next day going for a walk. I'm like, God, I feel like I've got like Mount Rushmore in my shoes. I do feel like the advent of the tagless shirt is up there with like the GPS system. Just like, why did we not think of this sooner? Why were tags everything? I'm going to go with the tags because at this point, if you have a tag on your shirt, you're fucking up.
Asshole. Yeah. I rip them off, and I know it rips my shirt every time, but it's like, this is stupidest fucking thing.
Well, and it's typical of a dude where I'm just saying, if I took 0.8 seconds to get scissors and cut it, it'd be fine. But instead, I've just ruined the shirt.
I disagree because scissors still leave a little bit of something on there. And it might as well be
like a fucking razor.
DOD45.
It's raw. It's fucking raw.
How much do you charge for this dish?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ask you what your interests are. Do you like it? Who you gonna be talking to?
First things first, the first what's best?
Love, hey.
Talk, questions, conversations, laughter.
All right, here we are. This is the table set.
All right.
Thanks, Buddy Peace, for the theme music. Thanks, Seez Mics, for dishing us out your first, worst, and thirst. Here we go. We got 3 of them for you. We'll start with your first.
Okay.
The first time you remember bombing on stage, in class, or anywhere, and what did you learn from it?
I did a show in D.C., and I used to be, this might have been why I became so absolutely anal. I would just practice over and over again. I don't like forgetting lyrics. I mean, it happens no matter how much you practice. But I had spent maybe like the day before practicing but rapping to my lyrics because I didn't have the instrumentals or something. That is not a good way to memorize stuff. And the next day of the show, thank God there wasn't a lot of people there. Unlike all my other shows where there's thousands of people. But at this particular show, I just could not remember the lyrics. And it was like after like the 5th time of trying to remember the lyrics, it wasn't like I could be like, fuck it, I'll freestyle now. It was like, I've already dug it. It was beyond bombing. It was the kind of thing where I was like, that was so bad. Anybody there would probably think I'm terrible. So
was that a situation where you noticed, or did the crowd notice?
They noticed. It was kind of like, it was a show, but it was kind of like a dry run situation, not quite an open mic, but yeah, it was bad. But from that point forward, I was like, I still have, people have the dreams about like being naked at class, being late to class. I still have dreams and like a long narrative of me being like, you should be practicing. And then at some point being on stage, being like, what? Right? Yeah. And not, like I can freestyle. And if that's what's supposed to happen, great. But like, people paid money to see you do your shit, not forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good one. All right, here's your worst. What's the worst diss that your younger self would burn your current self with in a rap battle?
Yeah, it's a lot of options. Growing up, I had an insane metabolism, and coinciding with that, I played a lot of sports and exercised a lot. I wasn't great, but I really enjoyed doing it. I used to be able to eat like nothing, and then I never gained weight. And man, I'm not like obese or anything now, but it's one of those things where I'm like, why can't I fucking gain weight anywhere but my stomach? Right?
Yeah.
So that would be, I would just like on some Pillsbury Doughboy, just fucking walk up and poke me in the stomach.
Would your younger self, like, would he be fucking relentless too?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny with battling. I remember talking, like, I've heard Sage be like, I just have never been able to envision Seez as a battle MC because I've never seen him be mean. I wasn't mean, but I was just, when I went in on somebody, I was fucking relentless. It was easy to do with people you know, and who do I know better than me, you fat fuck?
Yeah, so who's winning?
Right.
Who's winning? You or your younger self?
So much more money than you ever did, you sack of shit.
Oh, shit, that's good. All right, here's your last one. Your thirst. What's your favorite dumb movie that you'll defend to the grave? I don't think people would say that it's a dumb movie, but they'd eventually start saying it's a dumb movie because of how much I would defend it. Big Lebowski. I think it's right. Like it's not.
it's Spaceballs, I guess, would be like a good example of like a dumb movie that's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But Big Lebowski, I feel like it's got everything. But it's when we were talking about White Lotus before we started, the thing about White Lotus is I don't know what is the show, a soap opera? Is it social commentary?
All of the above.
Right. It's not, I don't know that even that show is quite sure what it wants to be, and maybe that's the appeal. Whereas Big Lebowski is like, I don't know if this movie's just like a stoner movie, if it's social commentary, but it's everything. It's the only movie that I've ever been able to see was like, this is everything it tried to be.
It's so fantastic, but I think it tells you a lot more about the person who doesn't like Big Lebowski than the Big Lebowski being a good movie.
Yep. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. But yeah, great answers. Great first, worst, and thirsts. So there you go, folks. We've been served by Seez Mics. Check, please.
This is done, man. Means I'm down to the shot.
Oh man, thanks so much. Sorry we ran over time, and I'm always very self-conscious about like I want to make sure they feel like they got to talk about their things, and then also trying to fit in 45 minutes. But I feel like it went pretty good.
Listen, I still from the moment I came on with you guys, I'd already been listening. I've been listening. Really enjoyed the Dose interview, the most recent one, the Eli interview, all that stuff. Love the podcast.
Well,
you both are amazing. Adrian, you're just so awesome. And Ty, you're pretty good too. So
well, I'm working on it. I'm still trying to figure out how to impress her. What's the next move for you personally and professionally? Or professionally?
So I am working on an album with a really talented producer based out of Baltimore, goes by Height Keach, who Sage actually knows from his times touring throughout the East Coast in particular. Height has a very distinct psych rock production style. And so slowly but surely putting that together. And in the meantime, just bumping everything, any and all things Strange Famous and any and all things DOD45.
Oh, killer. How do you prefer people to experience the things that you create?
Bandcamp. Go on Bandcamp. I mean, you can pseudo stream it there. Purchasing through there is great. But
I think it's 7 times.
7 times
before you have
not
to
if
buy.
you. Oh yeah, but once you buy it, you can listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
So you can like really test the waters.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and then how does someone stay informed with what you're like when this new album's coming out? How are they going to know?
I would say Twitter and Instagram are the ones that I'm best at. I think Facebook is just a complete wasteland of nonsense, but every now and then I go in there. I also have a poetry book that it's called Easier Dead Than Numb that I still think is it's the only non-musical thing that I've done artistically, so therefore it's the best by default, but I think it's really good. So if people,
where are they getting that at?
Yeah, just DM me on Instagram or Twitter. And we'll work out. Copies are $15 and then shipping and handling. But I just think it's really good. It's very different than my music, but also the same.
Yeah, I love it. Something tangible is always nice for people to get their hands on.
Word.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, man, for spending your time with us. I'll get this a little more detailed and stuff, and then everything in here has a metaphorical or some sort of specific thing to do with each one of the tracks on your album. But that's where the theme, that's what it is. And you've seen how it happens.
Yeah,
but
man.
Let me ask you this one last thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you decide. What would you like to be for the hands of the clock?
Microphones.
It could be anything you want. Microphones?
There you go.
Awesome. It's on. Hey, thanks so much for spending your evening with us. And we look forward to, are we going to be seeing you at the Strange Famous?
Probably not.
You have a theme.
I've learned the hard way. Making plans more than 2 weeks out is tough. But I will definitely try to make it up. If I do, I think I would be a surprise guest.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay, man. Thanks so much for your time. I fucking love the album. Love listening to you. And thanks for being part of the DOD45.
Thanks to both of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
Okay, you too.
Thanks.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Let's go. First up, living in the moment. Understand the present isn't an opponent. Swimming in the ocean, flying in the sky. Live while you live, then die when you die. Eye for an eye, a lie that lacks virtue. Blind to the fact that time is a flat.
Thank you, Seez Mics. Hey, remember humans before you log off?
Oh my gosh.
Before you log off, don't forget our episode is not completely over until you've heard Black Lick's last words, but I don't know if I have he is going to be sending us in some new recordings, some new last words. But I think I might be out before this episode comes out.
Okay.
But stick around anyway because we got some recommendations for you. Thanks, Seez Mics. Here's the drawing, and all the things in here are metaphorically, and you'd already heard it. They're all specific to his album with S.F.R. So go and check that out. Go support him. Like, that dude's been around he's been doing his thing for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came across some old videos of him in a rap battle with Rhymefest, and I was like, holy cow, look at little young Seez Mics. But go check those out.
You're struggling one way or the other.
I don't. Yeah, the tooth just looks so bad. But oh well, makes me look like whatever.
No tooth, you mean?
Yeah. Let's wrap up with some recommendations and get us out of here. Thank you, Seez Mics. Thanks, Strange Famous Records. Thanks, everybody that's watching the show. Here's my movie share. My movie share tonight is a movie called Run, Lola, Run. It's one of them movies that messes with time, chance, and decision, and it makes you think how every second matters. It's in German, so you do have to read subtitles. But the movie moves so damn fast that you don't even remember. You can't even tell that you're reading subtitles.
I think you even burn calories when you watch it.
You kind of do. I mean, it is like an intense movie. The main character, Lola, she's got bright red hair, and she sprints through the whole...
Orange, no?
It's like red, orange. It's mostly red. And she's sprinting through the entire movie, like running through it. It's directed by a dude named Tom Tykwer. I don't know any of his other movies, but I know he's got some other ones. But the thing about her red hair, I can't remember what year the movie came out. I want to say 98, 99 or something.
Probably
but
99.
Her hair, it stood out as interesting back then.
Mm-hmm.
It probably doesn't hold as much weight in this day and age now. Like,
probably not, but I do remember the hair. It was like, what's that one you love with the aliens and the girl?
Yeah, hers is orange.
Orange. Yeah.
That's Fifth Element.
Yeah. But those were like, wow.
Well, yeah, her hair,
bright hair.
Her hair was like, it was like a character in itself.
People still had dyed hair when we were young.
Yeah, but not as much. Like nowadays you see it and you wouldn't think anything of it.
Like all the tattoos.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. It was a very specific thing for her character, and it was like a character, but it was like, it was also its own kind of character. The hair, it said something, and yeah, I wonder if how that would translate in this day and age. But like I said, she sprints through the whole movie, and she's running through Berlin like her life depends on it, because it does. It plays out in 3 different timelines, so each one there's a tiny change that happens that flips everything, and it's kind of got that sliding doors vibe. 1 second, one decision, whole life path shifts. There's these cartoon scenes in the beginning of each one of those series. I thought that was a super clever way to break up tension without losing the momentum. It's got this beaten techno soundtrack that like pounds the whole way through, and I think that the director made the music for that. It's like this total, like full-on techno vibes, and it just keeps your heart pumping along with her running. If you missed this one back in the old days when it came out in the US, you could only watch the dub version. The English dubs are shit. So yeah, now that people do subtitles like it's every day, even English speaking.
I will say that every time I turn on a show on HBO, every episode I have to go in and turn off subtitles.
Yeah. It's now like, so normal now.
It's the standard.
What do you think about subtitles?
I can't stand them if it's English. If I'm watching English.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of distracting.
Yes, I don't like it, but so it really bothers me that every episode I have to go in and turn them off.
Well, here's the thing about this movie, about Run, Lola, Run. Even though there are subtitles, it's like her running the whole time. There's very little discussion, and when there is, it's and I'm mostly sharing the movie for younger people who've never seen it because I feel like it's a movie that is lost now. I think it's one that you should definitely go back and watch because it's a really cool movie. I'm going to give you a few interesting behind the scene things about the movie. So to get her that red hair, the actor, I can't remember her name, Laura. Oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter to her, but you guys don't need to know. You can look it up. But she apparently had to do multiple bleaching sessions in a single day to get it that red, and she couldn't wash her hair throughout the whole filming just to maintain that color. And she later mentioned she wouldn't make that choice again.
Right, and then running, she's got to be sweating.
Oh yeah. I never really saw her in any other movies. She did turn up in a couple of the Bourne movies, and then. They also shot a lot of the scenes without permits in Berlin, that guerrilla style thing, and you can kind of feel that. Feels really cool. So a lot of the things that are happening in the background with people, because it's kind of crazy. Those people didn't know they were filming a movie. If you're a Hitchcock fan, in the casino scene, the director didn't like this. There was an empty wall in the background, and the director didn't like it, so he requested that the production designer put a Kim Novak. Kim Novak is from Hitchcock's Vertigo. Okay. So he wanted a painting of Kim Novak up there on the background as like a shout out. But the production designer couldn't remember what Kim Novak looked like. So she painted the backside of Kim Novak. And so that's up there in the background in the casino scene. So that's a little subtle nod to Hitchcock. And I wonder if people are Hitchcock fans these days. They probably don't even know who it is anymore.
I used to watch the TV show all the time.
Yeah. Well, the budget was a $1.75 million, and it's grossed over $23 million worldwide. It's good money. There was a direct structural homage to it in The Simpsons episode called The Trilogy of Error from season 12. It tells the same story the 3 times from different characters' perspectives with overlapping events. And Lisa even is wearing a red backpack and sprints through the town in one sequence. That's kind of their homage to the movie there. And then it also was given homage to a Family Guy episode, the North by North Quahog episode. There's a quick cutaway, a gag where Meg's running through the city with red hair and German techno music going. So here's the thing about the movie. It's about I think it's something like 80 minutes, and it's 80 minutes of adrenaline. That's a nice, short, quick, boom, let's get a movie. You've got time to watch it after this episode, people. Go watch it. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Adrian, do you have a song share tonight?
Well, I do, but I'm going to let you choose. Do you want English? British, I mean? Do you want no lyrics? Or do you want Jesse the Tree?
Jesse the Tree.
Okay, then I'm going to go with Peace of Mind by Sleeping Dogs.
Nice.
And that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
Feet in the air, head in the ground, seeing how the worms get paid. World in my hands, you can take a picture like a birthday cake. Make a wish, throw away the keys, turn the lights down, let the moon breathe. Me and Drew go together like a loose sleep and some really good weed. I can spend a whole damn day ruminating over could have been, dog. I won't let another sand grain drop. I don't thank God, thank Mom. I was in the sandbox plotting on the motherfuckers hold down.
Yes, great song. I was listening to it in my head. Okay, great song share. My song share is a song called Goo Goo Wah Wah by Wah Wah Watson. It's a killer, funky jam from his 1976 album, Elementary. And it's got that signature wah-wah pedal guitar. And it is a funky, funky, funky track. And so if you want to listen to that song over and over and over and over again, along with heaps of other eclectic, non-smug music tracks, then go to our DOD45 song share playlist and subscribe to it on Spotify. It's called DOD45 Loves, LUVS. It's got some really awesome music in there, and you can listen to hours and hours of great music, and then you can go and financially support the artist who made the songs in there as a show of appreciation. Thanks again, Seez Mics. Be sure to check out his music on Bandcamp and strangefamousrecords.com. Depending on where this episode drops, we might be in Columbus this weekend. Thanks for watching our show. Thanks for supporting my art. Subscribe and review. It matters. All the links to do that are at DOD45.com. Send us some questions. We'll read them on air. You can send them to our Instagram at DOD45W or anywhere else where you can connect with us. Whenever we have an episode, it'll drop on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Final words, Adrian?
Well, he mentioned composting toilets.
I mentioned composting, building a toilet
You guys talked
compost.
about composting toilets, and I've been thinking about this. So they made an offer. NASA made an offer for. Okay, so you personally know that I've spent many hours of my life thinking about composting toilets, right?
Yeah.
You do know that.
Yeah.
And
we've stayed at a place with a compost toilet.
right, but I've thought about it for just about every environment and climate and water table and source. But NASA, now not so recent, but maybe a month or so ago, put out a thing that said if you can figure out how to recycle poop, feces, and space, we're offering $3 million.
Whoa, someone's going to make that.
Yeah, and I thought about it because I'm like, I've thought so much about. But
Couldn't they just do more
can't-
shit like that?
I just can't support space travel, so I'm deciding to not.
But can't we do more stuff like that? If you can figure something out, we'll give you this big money grant.
But is that really that much money for solving a gigantic problem? What will be? There's
if you're
still
just
like 90 bags or pounds of poop from the.
But if you're just sitting at
lunar
home and
landing.
you're like, oh, well, I could figure that out, and you're not doing
Well,
anything else.
Listen, if NASA can't figure it out, it's
Well,
a tricky.
I think you're wrong about that. That's why they have those science fairs.
Yeah.
Like people have
True. That's
ideas and concepts that even school people have no idea about. It's only going to take this one person.
What's the guy who walked on? Is that Lance Armstrong that walked on the moon?
No, Lance Armstrong
Was he the bicycler?
has one nut and did steroids
He's Jimmy Armstrong,
and blamed it on his friends.
Louis Armstrong,
Nope. You're getting close.
Tommy,
Nope.
Jim.
No, I forgot his name.
Well, his poop's still on the moon. When they had to
Roy Orbison. No.
When they had to make weight, they had to throw out their poop on the moon.
No, wait. Maybe it is Lance Armstrong. No,
I don't know.
No, Buzz Aldrin and Lance Armstrong.
Buzz. Yeah, Buzz.
Is it Buzz Aldrin?
It was Buzz Lightyear.
Whoa, these names are... Let's get out of here.
Okay.
That's us done. My sincerest apologies to Aesop Rock. We ran out of time. Thanks for spending your evening with us. Tell your friends and family about the DOD45 show. Have yourself a terrific week. Now marinate on these possibly last words from Blacklick. If not now, they'll be coming back soon.
DOD45.
Thank you for joining in on yet another episode of the DOD45 show. Please hit the subscribe or follow button so that you never miss an episode. You can even go one step further by leaving us a review on the YouTube stream or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever it is that you stream our show from. You can find me at Art by Ty on all the socials or at artbyty.com. And if you'd like to follow the DOD45 show on social media, we're at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can go over to our website at DOD45.com where you can shoot us an email, join our mailing list, and watch all of our past episodes. Consider joining us for a live chat on the YouTube premieres of episodes now every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.